Over to you, Shadi.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shadi Emmelda Matjila, and yeah, both names need to be present at all times because it's a culture thing in the Sepedi culture. So you can't have one name without the other, unfortunately. I am an alumni of the YCAP program, and my journey with YCAP started in 2018 when I was in grade 10. To be honest with you, initially when the YCAP program was introduced to our school, they only wanted learners that were already doing things that are leadership oriented. So learners who were class representatives or part of the RCL and all of that. And because I lost the election to be the class representative for my class by 1 vote, I did not qualify for that, but my best friend qualified for it because she was a class rep. She won the election for her class. And so they started working on YCAP in February, but come the second meeting, most of them dropped out. So there were only 2 people that were left in the original team. That's when they opened it up for everyone else. And because from the get-go, I was inserting myself in there, even though I wasn't supposed to, I was the obvious pick to be one of the new members of the team. So fast forward to March of that year, we attended a workshop telling us more about YCAP and what it is. And the lady over there, she was actually the one facilitating the workshop that day at Silverton Primary School. So we learned more about YCAP from her, and she assisted us throughout our YCAP journey that year, even going so much as mentoring us post the provincial rounds and all of that. So after the workshop, my teammates and I deliberated and were like, you know what? Because we come from a technical high school, why don't we let our solution to whatever problem we identify be technical? Let it be a technological solution, something that is innovative to reflect the academic background that we come from. And so ultimately, the problem that we identified was a lack of time management, and we resolved it by building a time management app from scratch. Equipping ourselves with the skills to code different languages, and we built a prototype of the app which we presented at the district round of the YCAP competition, which we won. And we went on to represent the Tshwane South District at the Gauteng provincial competition, which we also won. And then we went on to represent the Gauteng province at the national competition, which was held in one of the forever resorts in Mpumalanga. Fun fact, that national round in 2018 is the national round where Basitsana also participated. Only she represented Free State while I represented Gauteng. So we wound up coming out, we came 4th place overall that year. Though it was a bit painful, but won't lie, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my entire life up until that point. That was the first time I went to a resort, fully paid. That was the first time we got an allowance from the school, that was one of the most exciting parts, getting allowance from the school, because how often, because in our school, it was only the rugby kids that got an allowance, because they're the ones that always placed. Now suddenly we were representing the province, suddenly we also qualified to get an allowance, it was bragging rights, also provincial colors, the sides and all that, so yeah. Following that, unfortunately, we lost the support from our school in the following year in 2019 when we were doing our follow-up projects, those being a community safety project, as well as a feeding scheme project. So I attended Pretoria Technical High School, which is qualified as a Quintile 5 school. But unfortunately, the reality of the school does not match the categorization according to the department standards. So a lot of our learners come from the townships, Mamelodi, Mabopane, Soshanguve, etc. So they travel long hours to get to school. When they get to school, they don't have food. There's nothing that they can do. They get to school at 6. One of my friends who lived in Soshanguve got to school at 6 a.m. every morning, and there was nothing for her to do. And she didn't have food when she got there. She would go the entire day at school without any food because they could only afford to eat once a day at home. And when we did our research, we found out that this is more common than is spoken about, and there was a fear of speaking out because of the stigma, because you attend a formal Model C school, you are expected to have some sort of money, background, and all of that. So in order to combat that, we started our own feeding scheme at school, doing fundraising events to fund that feeding scheme. If you look at the pictures over there, the top middle picture is after the district round of the YCAP competition, where that specific project won first place. So that's me and the team and our teacher mentor. That year I was serving as a mentor rather than a participant, because back then it was only up until grade 10 where you could participate in YCAP. So that was my first experience being a YCAP mentor, and once again, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, because in as much as that project didn't take us all the way to nationals, it left such a deep mark in our school that even after we left, there were learners who continued with that project, continuing to give back to the schooling community and all of that. Fast forward to 2021, I am done with matric, but I have nothing to do because I have to wait to upgrade my marks in June. And I was in a depressive state at the time because I was still mourning the death of my favorite grandmother, passed away the previous year. So I needed something to do, and while I was going through my phone, I came across pictures from my time during doing YCAP. And I was like, no, don't they have something that we can do even though we can't participate in the program as a learner? Because I remember the feeling that I got while doing YCAP, and I wanted to get that feeling back again. Because in high school, when I did YCAP, it was off of an incident that happened, a sexual assault incident that happened to me. And YCAP just so happened to follow that, and I could channel all of my energy into YCAP just as a healing mechanism. Now I needed another healing mechanism, and it just so happened that YCAP came back into the picture around the same time. And that was when I DM'd the YCAP Instagram page, got all the information I needed to be part of the support team, applied, and was ultimately accepted onto the support team. And we started venturing schools almost right away, And in 2022, I got to attend the YCAP national rounds. That's when they were held in person for the first time since 2019. And once again, it was a new experience because I live in Gauteng, and I've always heard of Sandton, but I've never been there because it seemed like a place that was so far out of reach for someone like me, But now I was actually going to Sandton, to a hotel in Sandton to attend an event and all of that. I was so excited. I was nervous, but I was so excited as well. And that event was one of my biggest blessings because it is there when Amanda spoke to me and she heard about some of the things I was going through. She offered me a bursary to study for the following year because I could not afford to continue my studies after upgrading my marks. So I accepted the bursary and I started my legal studies at Boston City campus. Eventually went on to pursue my Bachelor of Laws degree at the University of South Africa, which I am still doing presently. And I'm also doing creative media with Intlanyelo Hub, also at the University of South Africa. So my academic journey, tertiary education journey, started once again because of YCAP, because they gave me the grace, they gave me the benefit of the doubt to say, let's give her a chance, Had she not given me that foundation with the bursary, I probably would not be doing my LLB right now. I'd probably still be at home wondering what am I supposed to do, what's the way forward, and all of that. So this is all just to say that YCAP is an important program, not just for the learners, but also for the support team members as well, because we get opportunities that we never imagined we would ever get with YCAP. Just like last year, I got to adjudicate the Northern Cape provincial rounds. That was my first time on an aeroplane, ever. The first time I was on an aeroplane, and once again, it was because of YCAP. So YCAP, I always say that YCAP is a program that oftentimes you hear kids are meant to be seen but not heard. YCAP does the inverse of that. Instead of treating kids as people who are just present, it treats kids as stakeholders who actually have something to contribute who actually have something to say, to add to the conversation or to building the South Africa that we want. And we need more programs like that, and we need programs like YCAP to expand from where it already is, so that it can have a much bigger impact and it can have a much deeper impact. And also through YCAP, I got to facilitate second YCAP project, but specifically for the communities of Mamelodi and Mabopane. And if you look there, the two pictures in the middle, those are pictures from that program, you know. I always tell my kids, I call them my Mamelodi kids. I still speak to them till this day. I still check up on them. I still speak with them. Two of them are presidents, as RCL presidents at their high school currently. Another one started his own NPO. He's actively contributing to building his community, and that NPO started off as a YCAP project last year. Now it's growing. Now he's in Zimbabwe representing the youth of South Africa, you know? Like, it's things like that that we need more of in South Africa, and I'm very glad that YCAP has played such a major role, not just in my life, but also in the lives of learners who are continuing to partake in the program.